I'm Lara.
I'm Brock.
And welcome to TEFL Talk. Hi, and welcome back to TEFL Talk. Brock, it is really great to see you today. Thanks for being with us, even if it's from miles and miles away.
Laura, it's great to see you. It's been a long time. Oh, sorry.
Whoa. Social distancing, Brock.
Sorry. Okay, here we go.
All right. Hey, Brock, do you happen to notice anything different about me at all from last time we filmed?
You've got a wonderful smile.
Oh, well, thank you. I also am no longer 9 months pregnant.
That's right.
Thank you for being willing to talk to us today about formative assessment. Formative assessment is a natural thing that a lot of teachers do. But can you kind of start us off from the beginning? What is it?
Basically, it's a partnership between the student and the teacher to find quick, effective ways that you can find out whether the students are keeping up with what you're teaching or not.
That sounds great. So it sounds like a great way that you could make adjustments if you find that your students maybe aren't learning at the pace or in the way that you were hoping that they're learning.
That's right, and then you can make any adjustments that are necessary.
What are some examples of those adjustments?
You could adjust the pace of the learning. You could review the content a little bit. You might change the medium of instruction, trying to approach what you're trying to teach from a different angle. A couple things that you might need to know about formative assessments is that they're very intuitive. They're typically not graded. They're kind of like check-ins. For example, on your car every now and again you want to check the oil to make sure you've got enough oil. So you put the dipstick in and you see how it's going on that. So dipsticking is a term that's used a lot in formative assessment because we're teaching the class is going along, the students are participating, but we want to find if they're participating in the right way or not.
What are some things that I should consider when I'm doing formative assessment?
First of all, it's really important to do a diverse and inclusive sampling. Don't just call on the same 3 or 4 people all the time. Because if you just call on the same 3 or 4 people all the time, you'll get good answers, but you'll get good answers from them, and you'll have no idea whether the rest of the class is doing the same or not. Another thing to think about too that I think is really important is that it's very important. You're asking earlier why it's important although formative assessment may seem natural things to watch out for. A good example is asking yes/no questions about student comprehension. If you say to students, hey, did you understand that? Or you get that? Or is that okay? They're going to nod their heads yes. In part because they don't want to be embarrassed, in part because they're not really sure if they know or not. So if you just give them a choice of yes or no, they're going to say yes and you're not going to know anything. But if you give them a wider variety of choice, if you give them, say, from 1 to 2, from 1 to 5, and they choose the one that fits best, they'll likely choose something in between 1 and 5, and that'll help you make a decision. Another thing to think about is timeliness, and by that I mean catching the wave, knowing when it's the right time to do it. So you're in class teaching. If you wait until the end of the class to find out what students have known, if there was something they missed, they're not going to get it back. So it's the nice thing about formative assessment is you can check very quickly and find out if the students are keeping up with you or not, whether they need more practice, whether they need more information. And again, you can do that with simple gestures. Yes, hands up for yes, hands no. Do you need more practice? Yes, no. True or false? Yes, no. There's a lot of things you can do very simply there to catch in the moment whether they're understanding or not.
I feel confident enough that I could probably recap.
That would be great. We could find out if you're keeping up as we're going along.
All right. So one thing that you mentioned that I am going to absolutely make sure I do is to get a diverse sampling. The second thing that you mentioned is not asking just yes or no questions, but rather giving students the opportunity to maybe use their thumbs or to use a scale from 1 to 5. And the last one is timeliness. So I will make sure that I am giving students real-time opportunities to provide feedback and also not waiting till the end because then I can't make my adjustments.
By George, I think she's got it. I want to share 2 formative assessments that our viewers can use right away. The first one's called an idea wave. Now, This is easy to do, but it's important. It's got two parts. First, there's the idea, the concept you're trying to teach. You want to see how much students are learning it. And then there's the language that you're trying to help them acquire that they can build around to talk about the concept. The second part, the sentence frames, usually what you do is you give them to the students on the board and you do some practice with them making some sentences. For example, with formative assessment, you might have some sample frames like, formative assessment, one thing I know about formative assessment is blah, blah, blah. Or simply, formative assessment is blah, blah, blah. Or formative assessment helps teachers, blah, 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 blah. Or a type of formative assessment that I want to try out is, okay, so those are their frames, and they have the frames. We've been listening in class, they have the concepts, they put them together. So you give them a few minutes to put them all together, and then you start calling random students around the room. They get to try out their answers. If somebody had the same answer they did, they have to try to come up with a new and different answer if they can. But it's called an idea wave because it really curves around the room.
It's like at a baseball game, the wave, right?
Yep. This final formative assessment I want to share with you all is exit cards. And the exit card has the concept of, here are a couple of concepts that that we have, and probably you'll give them to the student at the beginning of the class so they can see them. Simple things they can easily remember. And then you go through the class and the bell rings and it's time for everybody to go. Well, before people can go out the door, it's a game. They have to give a correct answer to one or two things on the exit ticket. The exit ticket can be written or it can just be oral, depending on what you want to do. And so you're standing by the doors, people go out, and you're asking for their answers, and they get both answers, they go along. If somebody has a trouble, you tease them about it just a little bit perhaps, but you don't want to punish them or give them a complex, so you help them find the answer and they go. And it kind of creates a conceptual basket that they can carry out the door of two very simple but important concepts that were learned that day. So if their parents should ask them, what'd you learn today? They've got an answer. So that's an exit ticket. It's really simple. It's easy to do. Kids get used to it. It becomes a routine.
I love it.
One final thing that I want to know, on a scale from 1 to 5, how much do you feel like you've learned today?
Brock, on a scale of 1 to 5, for today, I give you a 6.
Well, I thank you very much. For that, you may exit, and no homework for you tonight.
Thanks for watching TEFL Talk. If you want updates on new episodes, be sure to subscribe.
Do you have a great idea for a show topic?
Or maybe you just want to say hey. Either way, we would love to hear from you.
Whether you're joining us from Morocco or Ecuador,
or Mozambique or Ukraine,
just leave us a comment and let us know. Thank you very much.